Hello and welcome to our School at Home class in English 10. We are now in the fourth quarter of our set of lessons, and I hope everybody will delight in learning today with lesson number 14. In your previous lesson, you have learned that conducting research is the most reliable way we can begin to understand the complexities of various issues and to generate useful information which can be used for solving social problems. In your previous lessons, you have also learned that in writing a research report, you must consider different components such as the title, the introduction, the research questions, and the significance or the purpose of the study. Today, you will further deepen your knowledge in writing a research report, for this lesson is devoted in helping you acquire such knowledge about another part of a research report, which is the review of related literature. Let us first define what a literature review is. Review of related literature or literature review is the part of the research that discusses published information in a particular subject area. It provides the recap and the reorganization of information, or it might also trace the intellectual progress on the subject at hand. In literature review, the review involves systematic identification, location, and analysis of documents containing information related to the research problem. It is the researcher's immediate concern to look for these sources to put the literature into some organized form and use this for the study. You might be asking about the importance of review of related literature in conducting a research report. At this point, let us now discuss the importance and the different functions of review of related literature and studies. The first one, the review of related literature helps in a situation in which a researcher or student has not decided for his topic yet. It will enable him to determine and have a good idea of the topic he is interested in through reading literature and studies such as theses, dissertations, books, and even periodicals. After having an idea of what would be the topic of the study, the review of related literature and studies is a much help to the workability of research findings in the past, as well as theories, principles, and conclusions formulated by the experts of the preceding generations. Lastly, the review enables a researcher or the student to narrow down the general problem area to a specific researchable and well-defined manageable problem. The review of related literature and studies has several functions. To name a few, first one, it provides the conceptual or theoretical framework of the planned research. Second, it provides the information about past researches related to the intended study. Third, it gives the feeling of confidence since by means of the review of related literature and studies, a researcher will have on hand all constructs related to the study. The fourth one, it gives information about the research methods used, the population and the sampling considered, the instrument used in gathering data, and the statistical computation. And lastly, it provides findings and conclusions of the past investigations which may relate the researcher's own findings and conclusions. It is not necessary to review all the literature in the field, particularly one is dealing with a specific research topic. What the researcher needs are the materials that have direct relevance to the research topic. The number of literature studies to be included in the research is dependent upon the following. The first one, the availability of materials within the awareness of the researcher. Second, library facilities. And lastly, the relevance of the research studies already done. The materials in the review of related literature are generally used in the interpretation of findings in Chapter 4. Without these readings and studies, the researcher may be handicapped in explaining results of the study. With them, results are meaningfully interpreted. Readers will also be able to understand the intertwining of occurrences. The researcher will be able to improve the utilization of results and to see what could have caused some biases or loopholes in the results of the study. There are basic points to consider regarding the literature review. First, it must provide the historical background of the subject to be studied. Second, it must adequately present any and all relevant materials that are available, show the difficulty of the problem, the research design procedures, instrument and analysis employed by the studies being reviewed. Third, the review is vital in the development of the theoretical framework. A literature review must also present a summary in relation to the framework or model being considered for the study. For the fifth one, it must also include analysis of research findings, overall methodology, sampling, research designs, and methods of analysis. And lastly, it must rely on original materials. Relying on the literature reviews done by the other researchers may have a different impact because there is a chance that the reviewer may have interpreted the materials differently. To further understand this lesson, let us try to do this simple activity. Identify the following statements as true or false. Do a thumbs up if the statement is true and a thumbs down if you think it's false. Number 1. The relevance of the research studies done is one of the important factors in considering the number of studies to be included in a research paper. If you did a thumbs up, then you are correct. The statement is true. Library facilities and the availability of the materials within the awareness of the researcher are the other two things to consider in the number of the studies to be included in the research paper. Number 2. The review of related literature and studies helps in a situation in which a researcher has not decided for his topic yet. If your answer is true and you did a thumbs up, you are correct. The statement is true. It will enable him to determine and have a good idea of the topic he is interested in through reading literature and studies such as dissertations, books, and even periodicals. For number 3, there is a required number of research studies to be included in the review of related literature and studies. If you did a thumbs down, then you did a good job. It is false. The number of readings to be included is dependent upon the availability of materials, library facilities, and the relevance of research studies already conducted. Number 4. A literature review is the part of the research that discusses published information in a particular subject area. If your answer is true, then good thinking. Some might think that it's simply a summary of sources, but it's actually more than that. It provides a recap and a reorganization of information, or it might also trace the intellectual progress of the subject at hand. To wrap everything up that we have talked about in this lesson, you have to remember that it's important for a researcher to have a comprehensive and relevant body of supporting materials to his research work. The review of related literature and studies are needed, for it provides insight into the conceptual background of the study, and it helps the researcher to gather valuable data and ideas that can guide him in his own research. After viewing and listening to this video lesson, do not forget to do these exercises as your homeschool work for today. Worksheet number 14, English 10, 4th quarter. Goodbye and have a great day.